The Demon Slayer manga has ended quite a few years ago, while the anime is approaching its ending as well. But even like that, there are quite a few different mysteries that the story never really revealed how, why, or when. Today, we'll present all 20 mysteries that were never answered in the world of Demon Slayer. And for anyone ready to ask what element does Mitsuri's love breathing take, no, we won't talk about this kind of stuff in this video. Beginning with one I'm pretty sure you never really thought about. Demons are thought to be a cut above humans. Anything humans can do, demons can do better, with the sole exception of stepping in sunlight, of course. They have increased strength, never-ending stamina, metaphysical abilities, superhuman regeneration, seemingly endless lifespans, and generally a near indestructible body. And yet, there's one issue we never really got a clue about. Could demons actually reproduce? If so, could they do that with other demons? How about with humans? If yes, have there ever been cases like that? And if yes, where and what happened to the child? Well, I'm pretty sure if Demon Slayer ever gets a sequel, this would indeed be a fun concept to work around. If demons cannot regenerate now, why? Shouldn't they be more powerful than humans, aka be able to do everything humans could, with the exception of being exposed to sunlight, of course? Is it even a question of inability to reproduce, or more like a lack of desire for such acts? Do demons become sterile when being turned into one? Well, no matter what, if demons could reproduce and chose not to, I do feel like that's quite a wasted opportunity. Imagine how strong the offspring of powerful demons would be. The kids of Muzan or Kokushibo, for example. And again, why didn't we ever see a mention of such a detail? If they can reproduce, it seems like a wasted opportunity for more depth in the story. If they can't, well, a mention of it would have been nice. Now, this was just the beginning, and I'm sure the more I keep digging into it, the more mind-blown you'll be, and the more brain-itching mysteries I'll start to unravel. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, and let's keep going. A second point I would like to mention, even if a bit more trivial, I suppose, has to do with Kamado Tanjiro. What exactly happened to him? We do know that he died of an illness, but we never really knew what that illness was. Some theories claim it was the illness that kills all bearers of the Demon Slayer mark before they reach the age of 25. But was that really the case? After all, he was indeed estimated to be in his 20s when he died, so this was probably the case. However, it was never explicitly confirmed. Next, let's talk about Lord Inosuke. Well, you're gonna have to hear me out on this one. How did Inosuke know what his name was? I mean, think about it. Inosuke was basically abandoned by his mother, or rather, forced to be abandoned by his mother when Doma had her cornered and was about to kill her. Thus, Konoha threw baby Inosuke from the cliff in hopes that he would survive. Inosuke was found and raised by boars as a result. But here, a question comes into play. How would Inosuke know what name his mother gave him? Some theories state that Konoha had written his name on his underwear, but Inosuke could not read at all. He was raised by boars after all. So, who read the name to him? Did the old man he encountered many years later tell him his name? Well, do you get where I'm going with this? If this is truly the case, and this old man did read Inosuke's name from his underwear, well, that means Inosuke really wore the same underwear for multiple years. Yeah, I didn't really expect much from Inosuke, but this kind of goes too much even for him. Wearing the same underwear for entire years? That's gotta be a world record, and not really one I'd be proud of, I guess. But speaking of Inosuke, a really noteworthy achievement of his was that he passed the final selection without even knowing he was taking part in it. He was just in the area, picking the swords of a fallen demon slayer, and started slaying demons. So here, a question came to me, and a mystery we never really got the answer to. Do all demon slayer candidates receive training before participating in the final selection? Because all of Zenitsu, Genya, and Tanjiro did. Also, Urokodaki was said to have lost a lot of students to the hand demon during the final selection throughout the years. So he did have students he was preparing to take the exams. So my question is this: who found these demon slayers and trained them? Because apparently many people died every year in the final selection, people that were obviously not ready. So why did they let them participate? Why don't they show them the basics, or at the very least, enough to be strong enough to pass the exam, so that the demon slayer force can have less casualties and also increase their fighting strength? I mean, at this point, they were just feeding the hand demon with people to make him as big as possible. Next is one that's been bugging me for a lot of time, and I never really got a reliable answer. Not even theories knew what to say about this. Hear me out. In the history of Demon Slayer, as far as we know at least, there have been two known demons that also possess the ability to use breathing forms: Kokushibo with his moon breathing, and Muzan with his moonwalk breathing. Nah, I'm just kidding. The second was Kaigaku with his thunder breathing. But why is that? Can demons learn breathing forms even after being turned into demons? If not, why? Or do they need to learn something before being turned into one? If they can learn a breathing form after being turned into a demon, why don't they? Is it because they're maybe too proud to use power-ups that they themselves see as inferior? After all, they have the blood demon arts in their place, something they see as superior. No matter which of these it is, we never really got a confirmed answer about it, and thus, this remains a mystery even after the end of the series. series. Something even crazier now is this. If a kid turns into a demon, do they grow? As in their bodies? And before you answer yes, I know what you're thinking. Rui, right? He stays the same, a young child. But there's an issue with that. Remember Muzan in the final arc? He had his hair turn white when Tamayo's medicine made him grow older by 50 years in every minute, meaning that within 3 hours, Muzan had aged by over 9,000 years. This was what caused his hair to turn white, not the poison itself, meaning he did display characteristics of a growing human, aka having his hair turn white, even if at a delayed and slowed down rate, because he's a demon. So, which is it? Does the body of a demon mature and grow, or does it stay the same throughout their entire demon life? Next, an even more insane one, which I'm sure will make your head hurt a little bit. Would Muzan know if one of his demons was sun resistant? I mean, Nezuko has always been immune to sunlight, and the reason for that was probably because her mother used to make the family a soup, which, you guessed it, had blue spider lily inside it. Thus, when Nezuko was turned into a demon, she was immune to the sun, the same way that Tanjiro was when he became a demon. So my questions here are two. Was Nezuko's ability to reject Muzan's influence related to the blue spider lily she ate when she was younger? Was that the reason Tanjiro managed to do the same? If so, Tamayo could also reject Muzan's influence, but was not really immune to sunlight. After all, Muzan consumed her and did not conquer the sun. But my second question is even more important. Would Muzan know if one of his demons was sun resistant? Like, picture this. A new human has just been turned into a demon. If this demon is immune to sunlight, does Muzan know about it? Or does this demon need to step in the sun? If that's the case, why didn't Muzan start randomly turning humans into demons and having them step into the sun? If any of them survive, he eats them and job done. If it doesn't work like that, what if the demon was immune to sunlight, never stepped into the sun, and was killed before that? Muzan just wasted a golden opportunity for immortality. Nezuko, for example, was immune to sunlight, but she was not under Muzan's influence. If she was, would Muzan know she was sun resistant or not? Really, this whole dynamic was never explained. So here we need to speak about Kokushibo and the possibility of him being immune to sunlight. Think about it. Nezuko did not know until she stepped into the sun. She was instinctively afraid of the sun, and yet when she first stepped in it, she got severe burns. So what if Kokushibo was the same? After all, he is the brother of Yoriichi, the one who created the very sun breathing itself. So it's not really impossible. Maybe across all other demons that died through the thousands of years, maybe one or two of them were immune as well, without Muzan knowing. And yet, let's dig into that a little bit more. What if Muzan ate humans that had consumed the blue spider lily? Would he become immune to sunlight? Or would it have to be a demon who was immune who consumed the blue spider lily? Nezuko was immune, most probably because as a human she ate the blue spider lily. If Muzan were to eat Nezuko while she was a human, for example, would Muzan be immune to sunlight? If that's the case, oh boy, do I have news for you then. All of Tanjiro's family must have been immune to sunlight in that case, because all of them ate the same soup broth Tanjiro and Nezuko ate. And what did Muzan do? Kill them, but not eat them. Speaking of family matters, I would like to speak about Kokushibo. Fighting Muichiro during the Infinity Castle arc, Kokushibo used Transparent World on Muichiro and saw Muichiro's exact structure on a cellular level. This allowed him to recognize that Muichiro is in fact a distant relative of him, while also deducing that, unfortunately, the Sugikuni name must have faded through the years, since Muichiro's last name was now Tokito. So my question here is this: how did it work with Kokushibo's family? He did say that Muichiro is a distant offspring of him, so that means he had a family. After all, we know that Yoriichi did not father any children, as his wife and child were brutally killed one night while he was away. So when did it work with Kokushibo? Did he have children after becoming a demon? Unlikely, in my opinion. So, did he have children before? Did he abandon them? Did he eat them? Did he also turn them into demons? And if so, what happened to them? Logic says that for his lineage to continue, he probably had to let them go. But again, we really got no info on that at all. Next, let's talk about Hashiras. You see, the Hashiras are known as some of the strongest individuals in the world of Demon Slayer, but they also feature another unique trait. All of them have different breathing forms, and as a result, nicknames. Mitsuri is the Love Hashira, Gyomei is the Stone Hashira, Giyu is the No Friends Hashira, and so on and so forth. They even have a kind of tradition when retired Hashiras will teach the next ones in order to succeed them. For example, Urokodaki was training the next Water Hashira, Jigoro was training the next Thunder Breath Hashira, Shinjiro was training the next Flame Hashira, meaning that each breath, there's only supposed to be one successor. What would happen if, let's say, one generation had two Demon Slayers that passed the qualification to become Hashira? After all, any anyone who meets the criteria gets turned into one. The criteria are as follows. The candidate needs to kill one of the 12 demon moons or accumulate a record of defeating 50 demons total. In addition to these feat-based qualifications, the Slayer must have reached the Kinoe rank, aka the highest rank below Hashira, have mastered their chosen breathing style, and have their abilities confirmed by a majority vote of the current Hashira and the approval of the Demon Slayer leader. So none of these really disqualify someone if they use the same breathing form as an existing Hashira. Moving on, let's talk about Genya and his very special ability to consume demons. You see, Genya possesses unnaturally strong jaws and special digestive organs, which allow him to tear off and consume the flesh of demons without any adverse effects. By devouring demon flesh, Genya temporarily gains demonic characteristics, such as fangs and unique yellow tips in his hair. Sometimes, presumably because of how concentrated a demon's blood is, Genya can gain attributes related to the demon he devours, like when he gained Kokushibo's eyes, hair, and Demon Slayer mark, with his shotgun even gaining the appearance of the upper rank's katana. More importantly, Genya is able to become stronger after consuming a demon, receiving a bigger boost in power depending on the strength of the demon he consumes. His regenerative abilities enable him to heal as well, something that for humans is not possible. Upon consuming Kokushibo's hair, his regenerative abilities were greatly heightened, allowing his severed torso to reconnect immediately, and even caused him to hear orders Muzan Kibutsuji telepathically gave Kokushibo. So my question with all of this situation is this: how did Genya discover he could eat demons? Was he like, oh sure, this demon looks delicious, let's give it a go? He was probably seeking power and decided this was the only way he could achieve it. But how did this thought even cross his mind? Like seeing a demon, is that a known practice that someone could follow in order to grow stronger? And mentioning that, there was a previous character that Kokushibo mentioned who could eat demons. Kokushibo stated that he had seen this ability once before. So, were there more people like that? What made them realize they had this ability? For Kokushibo, who lived almost 500 years, to have only seen one other case, it's probably almost never happened. Again, the life of this other guy remains a mystery to us. Okay, so we've spoken quite a bit about Kokushibo and the mysteries that surround him. So now, I'll go ahead and present the final one I've got in store for him. We all know how Kokushibo died, right? Or do we now? Because a lot of debate has been circulating online, whether Kokushibo let himself die, or whether he reached a point where he could no longer regenerate. The way I saw it, he refused to regenerate, but again, apparently not everyone saw it that way. What do you think? Did Kokushibo let himself die, or was he too exhausted and could not regenerate, and thus move on with his next transformation? But moving on to even more interesting topics, let's talk more about the upper moons. You see, these demons are said to be the best of the best in the Demon Slayer universe, but even so, we do know that many of them died in the past. Muzan even says that the lower moons keep being replaced all the time, while the upper moons remain the same for over 100 years. So to that, my questions are quite a few, starting off with this. If for 100 years the upper moons were not changed, this means that before 100 years ago, there were indeed upper moon casualties. Who managed to actually defeat an upper moon? Was it a human, or was it a blood battle between the very upper moons in order to decide their rank? After all, it was stated that Kokushibo defeated and consumed multiple demons that challenged him, but failed to defeat him, with the sole exception being Akaza, simply because he liked him. If it were humans who did that, who were they? But even more importantly, who were those previous upper moons? What were their abilities like? How did they die? What were their personalities? How strong were they? And why even stop there? We still did not even mention the lower moons, that it was said they kept being changed. Same questions apply to them as well, by the way. Once again, pretty good plot for a spin-off if the creators decide to expand on this universe. But speaking of previous generations, well, we need to talk about the previous Hashira generations too. The Hashiras are the single strongest Demon Slayer group the world has to show, and it's fair to say they are some of the most interesting characters too. But having said that, we know close to nothing about previous generations of Demon Slayers. How did they live? What breathing forms were they using? What did their battles look like? Again, an interesting concept that was not really explored much. Next, I would like to speak about the Swordsmith village arc. Remember how it all started? Kyoko went to Muzan and reported to him that he found the Swordsmith village. But that's as far as we get about this. How did Kyoko do that? Was there a spy? Did he strategically place a vase he could transport to that ended up in Swordsmith village? After all, we know the Demon Slayers are very secretive with this place, so it must have taken something special to find it. But again, we never really get any info on how this happened. We've spoken about quite a few upper moons, so let's now talk about Akaza. We know that Akaza refuses to fight women, right? Well, throughout the story, Akaza was never really put against a woman. In the Mugen Train, he fought against Rengoku. In the Infinity Castle, he fought against Tanjiro and Giyu. But what if he had to fight against a female Hashira? Would he run? Would he simply defend himself? Or would he be forced to fight back? Even more than that, what if the female opponent was stronger than him? Imagine a female Hashira, for example, on par with Yoriichi. Would Akaza still keep his values of not wanting to attack females? Because in that case, that would mean sacrificing his own life for the sole reason of not wanting to hurt women. Next, it's a bit of a tricky one. Hear me out. Why did Yoriichi not die from being marked? After all Demon Slayer mark users are supposed to die by age 25, and yet Yoriichi was still going strong even as an old man. So why was that exactly? Yes, he was built different, we know, but is there any other secret? There have been other Sun Breath users in Demon Slayer. Tanjiro, for example, was able to master all the power-ups of Yoriichi. Was the death by mark something that could have been avoided through a certain way, like being a Sun Breath user? Or maybe because Yoriichi had awakened it from birth? Well, we simply don't know. And now for the final point of today. It's a kind of thought experiment. Were there demons outside of Japan? Probably not, because the blue spider lily is supposed to only grow in Japan, or does it now? You see, after digging a bit, this flower actually grows in both Japan and China, meaning that Muzan could also obtain it by sending his demons into other countries abroad to search for it. Again, it would indeed be a nice concept to explore, and maybe a nice idea if the creators of Demon Slayer want to make a spin-off with the remaining demons residing outside of Japan that are still left out there after Muzan was killed. And for our last honorable mention mystery, I really have to ask, how the heck is the budget for each episode only $80,000? There's episodes with budgets over $1 million, and the animation doesn't even come close. But oh well, I guess some mysteries will always just have to remain mysteries. Click on this video next, where I'm explaining as well as ranking all 27 saddest backstories in the world of Demon Slayer. Go on, check it out!